A 12-year-old boy is dead, and a 17-year-old has been charged in connection with this shooting in an East Germantown neighborhood in Philadelphia. Let's talk about it. Yeah, it's a very unfortunate story, and it's a story that we unfortunately hear over and over and over and over again. And it begs the question, how long are we going to do this to one another? You know, brothers and sisters, it's Carl Gerard, Only One Mic podcast. Thank you for joining. Thank you for listening. Wish it could be under better circumstances, but this has to be said. We have a 12-year-old boy by the name of Ethan Parker, who was shot and killed in East Germantown, in the East Germantown neighborhood of Philadelphia. And this was on Saturday. The shooting occurred while Parker was filming a music video with two teenagers inside a residence. A 17-year-old male who was present has been charged with third-degree murder, involuntary manslaughter, and other related offenses. Police recovered the weapons, including a BB gun at the scene, and the investigation into how a live firearm ended up there is ongoing. Now, again, this is a tragic thing. Philadelphia, and I'm not just going to just point out Philadelphia, but the story is taking place here. But the gun violence across the United States of America is out of control, and especially amongst our young people. And there's a lot of factors that play into, you know, this love of guns that our young brothers and sisters have developed, and as the go-to to solve any issue. And like a friend of mine once said, these guys are playing tag with these guns. I think these kids are getting these things and they don't know the impact that it has when you use it, not just on the victim, but on the user as well, because it's unfortunate that this 12-year-old young man is gone. However, we also have a 17-year-old whose life is pretty much being thrown away. And it could have been something as simple as an accident. I don't think there was no malice involved. Like they said, they were in there shooting a music video. The question that's being begged was, how did that live firearm get there? And another question that I pose is, what is the obsession with young people feeling like in order to rap or whatever it is that they're doing, that guns have to be involved in this? I mean, what type of image is the entertainment industry portraying to these young folks to say, well, this is okay, you have to have this thing to make a statement in your songs or whatever? So I'm going to play a clip from NBC 10 to give a little bit more context in regards to what was going on with the shooting and the investigation involved in it. I want you guys to sit back and listen to this, and then we'll collect our thoughts on it later on. So please check this out.
12-year-old was killed in a shooting in East Pastoria Street this afternoon. And we begin with NBC 10 Shaira Arias joining us live in West Oak Lane with the latest on this investigation underway right now. Shaira?
Good afternoon, Johnny. We're actually right across the street from where that shooting happened, where that 12-year-old died. We had to move because things became a little bit tense just moments while we were there. Neighbors have been coming up to us all day asking exactly what happened. They are shocked to hear that something like this would happen the day before Mother's Day.
This is so sad to think this happened. This is a very quiet block. I love my block. And to hear something like this.
Investigators say the 12-year-old boy was inside this home of the 1500 block of East Pastoria Street Saturday afternoon. Officials say at around 12:30 they responded to a call about a person with a gun. They found a 12-year-old boy suffering from a gunshot wound to his stomach. In just a matter of minutes, the child was pronounced dead at the hospital. Investigators say the boy was filming a music video inside the house with two other teens, a 15 and 17-year-old. It is unclear which one of the teens fired the weapon.
Obviously, there were live guns there. The crime scene also consists of some other weapons, some BB guns, some fake guns. So how that live gun got there, who it belongs to, that is still all under investigation.
Detectives were seen coming in and out of the residence where the weapon was discovered. Family members who police say were inside the home during the shooting are being questioned. Police say the music video that was being recorded by the teens is a key piece of evidence in the investigation.
We're in possession of. However, there needs to be, legally warrants secured with respect to accessing that information.
Neighbors on the block were shocked to find out a tragedy like this would happen on their block a day before Mother's Day.
The videos, I think, now are so violent, and these kids, I just don't understand. You know, I was raised where you didn't play with guns.
Now, officials did tell us that the 12-year-old boy did not live inside this home. They say that they are still investigating if this was an intentional or an accidental shooting.
Now, again, I don't think that, it might have been anything intentional. This is just, looking through some common sense lenses, because if these guys were together actually filming this music video, I don't see where this would be something that would possibly be with some malice in it. He could have just tapped the trigger and, unfortunately the young man, was hit with it. But it's something that the sister said at the end. It's like, why are these music videos so violent? Why do our young people feel in order to make, if you want to, call it art through music, that violence has to go hand in hand with it? It begets violence. If you put it out in the atmosphere, as I've often said on other shows, that, when we watched Arnold Schwarzenegger be the Terminator, we understood the difference between reality and fantasy. In the years are coming up and all, we were explained that by our elders that, this is not real. Real guns hurt. People get shot, it hurts. You kill somebody, that's something that's on your mind. But little man and Rishan, they can't differentiate the two these days, it seems like. And this is where you see like the violence spike in the way that it does. And especially in the city, and again, I'm not just pinpointing Philadelphia because this is a nationwide problem. But, Philadelphia, according to, I think, the police statistics here, and again, when we look at like crime data, and this is from the Philadelphia Police Department, they're saying as of May 11th, I believe it is, 2025. It said it was only 69 homicides. 69 homicides. It said 4,383 total violent crimes. So this is according to the Philadelphia Police Department crime data. Like I said, these things, me personally, I think they're a little skewed sometimes because politics is also a numbers game. And, me being from New York, I know that they'll say, it's the safest city as of yet, but there's so much violence and stuff that's going on in the train stations and things of that nature. I think it's the stuff that's being reported, such as a story like this or something that tragic happens. I could be wrong. And all my Philadelphia brothers and sisters, please correct me if I'm wrong. In the comment section and all, let me know where I stand with this. Are those statistics good? Are those statistics solid? Or are you seeing something different because that's your respective city? And I'm only saying Philadelphia because of this particular story. And again, nationwide issue. Definitely a nationwide issue. So as a matter of fact, let's take a second to look at the gun statistics in America. In America, this is nationwide and 2025. There have been over 5,066 homicides and murders, 8,771 total injuries, and 104 mass shootings in the U.S. due to gun violence. Now, this is according to the Gun Violence Archive. In addition, officer-involved shootings. There have been 23 officer-involved shootings that resulted in death and 123 officers injured. Additionally, they say 468 unintentional shootings and 217 murder-suicides have been recorded. Again, this is according to the Gun Violence Archive, and this is nationwide. We have a problem, folks. Again, as we all know, we can say that, the guns are so accessible these days, and especially to the youth. There's a lot of connecting factors that happens with this whole violent situation. I mean, they're exposed, again, to the music, in which totally a separate program to discuss this, but in which I personally indict the music industry in terms of the companies that push this violence and suppress the things that make sense. You can say violence in movies. We see a lot of violence in movies and all, but where is the line blurred? And especially in this generation, where violence comes so easily to our young people. And then also we have a lot of old nuts out here too that should know better but don't for some odd reason. But I focus on the youth because this gets worse as it gets older. Anyone with children, grandchildren know that you're going to send your kids out in the world amongst these things. And again, this young man here, and I look at the pictures of the young man and all, and he really looks like, a young, if I could use the term, square kid. Like, he wouldn't seem like the type that's, into violence and things of that nature. Wrong place, wrong time, maybe. I don't know. But I think that the influence of guns in our society is getting worse. And I'm going to be honest with you, and this is just me. I don't think you'll ever get them off the streets. I don't think there will be any law passed that will say that you can't have it, or you have to turn it in, or we're going to confiscate. I don't think we'll ever see that in our lifetime. That's embedded within the Constitution, and in order to take that out, you would have to change the Constitution, which, opens up a floodgate of a lot of things, especially now in this current administration where they're trying to change so many things. I think that's one thing that they will not change, So I never look towards politics to change us. These things are individual choices. We have our children, you have your grandchildren, and all these things have to be taught from the gate. This is what it is. Pick up this gun. It's going to change your life in any form or fashion. If you're around people that want to walk around with guns and perpetrate something that they're not understanding what the consequences are, then again, these are life-changing decisions that's being made. I say this in closing, that we definitely have to pray for the family of the victim of Ethan Parker, the one that was killed, as well as the 17-year-old who was charged with the shooting. Like, again, it could have been something that was totally unintentional. I don't think that he would have someone in their home shooting a video and then shoot the person, which, from what it sounds like, this is on camera. So I'm pretty sure they're combing through whatever recordings that these young men made, to get more context on what happened. So, again, it's victims all around. We have one that's a loss of life, and we have one that's going to be a loss of freedom. So, again, life-changing situations, and more will come out as the investigation goes on. But again, I just send my prayers out to the family of Ethan Parker, as well as the 17-year-old young man who shot Ethan. But we got to do something about this, y'all. I mean, this is ridiculous. And I say this, in closing, I will say this. We get up and we march and we rally for different things, and We say Black Lives Matter when this situation is flipped on its head and it's like a cop that shoots a kid or whatever, or shoot any black man. I think we got to kind of start putting that same energy into situations like this about gun violence in the neighborhoods, and just kind of make like this big rallying call to stop it. If it takes protests to do this, if it takes marches to do this, or however you want to do it outside of violence, I mean, we have to do something where we can get these young people together and discuss these situations, in an open forum, give them some education, let them know what's going on out here before we have more people throwing their lives away. So again, I'd like to thank you all for listening. It's Carl Gerard with the Only One Mic podcast. You can catch us on any place that you get all of your, your social media. We can be found there. Also, please, if you like this video, hit the like button, share it, subscribe. Let's get this message out, y'all. Let's get this message out. So please hit the notifications, the like, share, subscribes, all the good stuff that needs to be done to get this message out. Also, it helps the channel, and, it's a small effort for you, but it's a big thing for us. All right. Carl Gerard, the Only One Mic podcast, signing off. Peace.